Hi everyone, this is Takatoshi Shibayama, the host of the Future Design Podcast. This podcast looks to empower listeners with perspectives on how we can challenge the social norm and evolve with better understanding of philosophy, spirituality, and ethics. Empowered individuals can have much stronger voice and influence in bringing about revolutionary changes in the world, whether you're building businesses or technologies. My guests and I speak about social constructs that are commonly accepted in the world today that's not working anymore, and how to rebuild them with ethical values to create a better future. In this episode, I speak with Taynaah Reis, the CEO of Moeda Seeds Bank. She sets out to create a mobile bank to not just provide financial services for the unbanked and underbanked, but to go a step further, to help out in education and build a marketplace for those who are looking to launch commercial services online. She's doing all of that on top of blockchain and cryptocurrency. She got into building websites since she was 12 through her father that had a large network for cooperatives. She understood what the people really needed and how to deliver that to them. Right now, the media's focus is on crypto. I get it, it's seemingly lucrative and exciting, but the real reason for crypto is getting people to better access to finance that's not limited to the wealthier people in the world. It's for everybody, especially for the ones in need. Taynaah has really set her focus on where this technology is most needed. She talks to us in detail what the services are that she's providing and what is driving this passion of hers. So without further ado, here is Taynaah Reis.
Future Design Podcast.
Thank you for joining the Future Design Podcast. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
Taynaah, this is an awesome topic that I would love to talk about because I got into the crypto industry because of what you're actually doing. And this is what I wanted to do initially. So it'll be great to start off with the conversations around what your mission is and everything. And I would really love to dive into that. But let me ask you the first question. Who is Taynaah?
Yeah, so it's the first one and good one, and it's mixed with everything what I do today. I'm a technologist. I started my career when I was 12 years old doing websites. I'm a self-taught in many programming languages. I started investing on Bitcoin early into the days, and I saw like the combination of the many technologies that I developed, the way to help more people and to really provide access to finances and technical assistance and a marketplace that everyone needed. And through the cryptocurrencies now, I was able to fundraise through an ICO in 2017, when was the boom of the ICOs, and to be able to do make my dreams come true, to make other people's dreams come true too. So it's my purpose in life and my mission to support people that need it the most. And I do use all the technologies and tools that I learn in my life to do and dedicate to that mission today.
That's great. And this is the first time I have a Brazilian person on my podcast. And I would really love to learn about how your childhood was, what kind of path that led you to what you're doing today.
Oh, beautiful. Very inspired by my father. He created one of the largest credit programs within the government here in Brazil a long time ago. And I used to go to the cooperatives and to the indigenous communities. He would take me everywhere. And I grew up with the products of the rural areas, so they were part of my life. So I saw very early the difficulties and the pain, the struggles, especially for women-owned businesses to get access to affordable capital, even to open a banking account. That was very difficult. And that's what I realized, and I clicked, how we can improve that, and how we can like support the legacy that I see like my father started, that I see that's a mission that I'm continuing. How can I support even more like people, and to bring international capital and people that want to invest and do good and do well at the same time. I found into the crypto currency and to the crypto space like a lot of positivity and ways to do that in a very fast and easy way, easier than the traditional.
Yeah, a lot of the listeners that have been listening to my podcast already know what my passionate about in crypto, but just to understand your passion about crypto, what doesn't work in the financial or the traditional financial space that had to lead you to crypto?
So especially in Brazil, like 3 in 10 Brazilians are like underbanked or subbanked. Like they might have a banking account, but they don't have access to credit. And the credit score, the rating is very it's very painful for a lot of people. If you don't pay an electric bill, you can be cut off from the system for a long time. And in many communities too, you don't have the physical bank. You might have ATMs available, but in some of communities that we serve, they are like 100 kilometers far away. So it's very many of the people in the rural areas, they do depend from the government system, and the government is very bureaucratic to get affordable credit. So it's very, very hard. Like if you need machinery to irrigate the coffee production and you need into this week, otherwise you lose the entire year of harvesting. You can get the money right away. Like people go into credit cards and then you have like interest rates that are skyrocketing for like 1,000%. So it's super challenging here in Brazil, like in other countries in Latin America too, and a couple in Africa, in Southeast Asia, we have like similar problems that is difficult for the people that need the most, like in those far away like areas, and especially small size businesses. Like there is a lot of finance for the Amazonian region, for instance, for like the largest businesses and individuals, but for the small entrepreneurs that are getting started, that is not a entrepreneurship culture like here in Brazil to provide finance to like early stage companies. You have that kind of capital concentrated in urban areas. So now people are talking about agri-tech and impact investment and financial inclusion. Now is like a good time that I see that there are support funds for specifically for women. So that is what I see like in Brazil, but like in other parts of the world too.
So before we go into the crypto side of things, right now, I think there's a lot of banks that are investing in technology like mobile apps. And here in Singapore, everybody generally has an app from their bank. And I don't see why in Brazil people can't have these mobile apps and have access to financial services. So if the web apps can have a AML KYC policy built in where people can submit their national documents online to that, they don't really need a physical branch, basically. So is that something that Brazilian banks are investing in, or is it something that's not really available?
Yes, it is available, but we have like a lot of communities that don't even have access to internet. So then if you don't have internet, you can not go mobile. And it's hard for those people too. But yes, we are having like a lot of investment coming to fintechs. There is a lot of competition on the digital banking, but the user experience sometimes for the simple user, the artisan, the farmer, is hard for them to change from the traditional to the mobile, if there is like a lot of confusion even into the experience that they have. The central bank introduced also other means to do peer-to-peer transactions here in Brazil, but that is a lot from financial education too that we don't have from the beginning, like the basic education on how to handle the finances. So what I see is like not just providing the tools and the top technology in the world, but you need the education alongside the capital, the access, because people maybe they see like, oh, there is a credit available for you, but if you don't spend it right, can turn into a bad thing. And yes, that's what I see. Like what makes us different is the kind of like humanizing finances that we provide this like care, and we pay attention to to every single person that opens an account like this, beyond like technical assistance and financial literacy, like everything that is needed in conjunction with the technology for even like open more opportunities for the people.
Yes. I had a similar topic back in my previous episodes, and the title was called True Mission of Fintech. And I had a lady that talked about her mission in using something similar to yours without the crypto part of it in Pakistan. And what I would like to understand more is about Moeda and what the solution is and how it is going to help people in Brazil.
Yeah, so Moeda, today we provide the means for people to access a normal banking account, like a traditional banking account, but with the crypto part. The crypto is more for the transparency on the processes, where we can register the lending processes and the correlation with the results of impact. This is good also for the investors, that they can see right away where they are investing to. So you can, through our technology, after opening an account, you can invest within 3 clicks in a cooperative here in Brazil, in a business here in Brazil, very easily, and follow up with the business along the way. So that is like a differentiation, and we have APIs and connections with marketplaces. So if the farmer is selling something digitally, or the artisan is selling something digitally, they can connect the account through the API, and they can receive we anticipate all the payments. So even if people purchase something in 30 days, 60 days, we anticipate that for the farmers too. And the technical assistance, like we have a team of economists and people that help with business plans, that help with even like governance for the cooperatives and SMEs here, that they go like how to customize the loans and everything that is needed for the business to succeed. And we have like a portfolio of like many beautiful projects that are available. And through those years, we with the study cases and the successful cases that we fund, we prove to the investors that they can do good and do well at the same time. They can have a financial return, and they can have the jobs and the impact that is made. And we calculate and we use blockchain also to register the results and impact metrics on that. So it's a bank, but that within the service of good. And we created also different NFTs, like and other types of financial assets that people can purchase as well. Like we tokenized the last one was like a tokenization of acai rainforest. So through a simple like NFT, you can invest in the Amazonia with acai production. So those things, like we are like, that's what we love to do, like those types of green assets and green debentures, and like using NFTs and using the blockchain technology to facilitate those like humanized and green and sustainable assets.
Oh, that's amazing. And what I hear from your solution is that it's not just like a mobile app, or it's not just about crypto or blockchain. It's more about getting people, to a higher level. You provide them education, you provide them with assistance on learning about your services and how you can support them throughout their whole journey, while they access loans, while they access insurance, and etc. And I always thought that was the most important part, because there was always this mantra that I always had a little bit of a problem with, is that, we're going to make this mobile app, we're going to have crypto, so that this is going to solve financial inclusion and all these things. But I was thinking, but people, if they don't even know how to use money, or they don't know the concept of insurance or loans, I mean, how are they going to even if they have access, they're not going to make the best use of it. So obviously education's really important, but the underlying social economic problem of the whole area also has a huge element to understanding why they are in that situation as well. And I always thought that you have to tackle those things before even giving, a tool for them to create a cryptocurrency for themselves, or have access to financial services. So how do we all, and I think this concept can be used in many different countries here in Southeast Asia as well, Latin America, Africa. There's so many regions that I think these concepts can be replicated. What do you think as a financial service company can also provide so that they can tackle these underlying social economic problems? And what do you think they are?
I think that's why we created, we call more of an ecosystem of impact, because to tackle complex problems, we need also complex solutions and more holistic and systemic solutions to it. So like the first one is the access to finance. That is the basic one. Like people need to have the capital to start like doing something. The second is the education, like how you use the money for the better good in a smart way, and how you'll be supporting people. And here we do prioritize women-owned businesses, because we know that also investing in women, they will revert the income and the revenue. They will reinvest in their own families, into their education, and they think in a long term too. And the third is the commercialization, like selling a service or product. Because when we help with the finance, we help to create the product, we invest on them, and then we make it available to sell. Then we know that is a revenue coming, that is a job that is made there, and then people can repay the loan and also make a good life out of the equation. So we always think in how that will be sustainable even through the uncertain times like the pandemic that we had right now. Many people went right away to like selling online, and that was like a big change for many of the farmers that used to sell in the street fairs and now they're like creating the logistics to sell it online and have the means to have that payment anticipation too. So that means like a lot to them, because when you wait like 30 days for receiving something is hard in the rural area. So they can also make plans and better plan and organize their lives when that is income available shortly. And that's why we think like holistic, like, well, if we started with the fund, and then when we were like lending the money, we saw the struggle with the traditional banks. They couldn't use, and the banks were taking a lot of fees and on the transactions, and from the 100% that we sent, they would end up with 70%, and they didn't know how well to spend that money. So we'll say, okay, let's do the accelerator and let's do the fintech, because like they need to understand like more about not just like being affordable, less tax fees and things that they struggle with, but also in the education. And when the pandemic came last year, we invested into the marketplace too, because then like, there was the investment, there was the beautiful product, and how can they sell? Like, let's support on that too. So then we have like this full virtual circle of that is sustainable enough for them to keep growing and envisioning that they can have a chance, and then like more income and more jobs that they are making, more access of the finance that they have, and more education that is like that grows and multiplies exponentially. So those three gotta be always like together: the access to capital, education, and the means to commercialization, especially for those challenging areas.
Yeah, sounds like an astonishing project that you're doing, and it also sounds very overwhelming at the same time, because it also seems like it's not, as I said in the earlier times, it's not just about the mobile app, but it's also having that actual presence there and being able to speak with the people there. So how's your team built out? So is there like an on-premises team in these various villages or locations, and also providing the education, the assistance for people to have access to these marketplaces? understanding what cryptocurrency is, what are NFTs, and etc. I mean, these are possibly completely new ideas that they probably never heard of before. So I'm not even sure if some people even register that. I mean, even probably like my mother probably wouldn't understand it either. So what is the steps that you take to get into these villages or regions and trying to help these people on board to your system and then fully utilize your services?
Yes. So we have a core team that takes care of to curate the projects, to receive and to work with the people on the ground. But we also have the partners, and we have different partners for each sector that we partner that knows everything about coffee. So we partner with the International Women of Alliance of Coffee Producers here in Brazil. So they take care of every project that comes to us that is related to coffee. They can help on the vertical way. So we hire also consultants, and for specific moments in phases of the project too that need some customization or a specific thing that is needed for that. And for the sector of coffee, we have milk and specialists on soy and beans, and specialists on agroforestry and syntropic and permaculture and everything that is needed from each one. So every time that we need support, because also my father created one of the largest networks of the cooperative system here in Brazil, we have many people that we can access immediately to support the other people. So we aim to we did the methodology in order to multiply the work. We also count with the partnership of universities, many students that they are interested today, and they find that purpose too, instead of just doing the final work and through presenting to the professors and throwing out. They said, "Oh, I want to do my final work in one of your communities, in one of your projects, and have spending 6 months, 1 year doing the final work in the university, doing something that will be used for." So we have a lot of students and partnerships with universities on that too. And what we end up creating is this Wikipedia for good projects and lessons learned too, because that was hard to find, something that was good and something that is failed, where I can find on the internet specifics about the crop and about technologies that have been used. So by gathering all this knowledge from the partners and by building up the projects, we created this encyclopedia of methodologies and how to do it, and things that we can multiply that work here in Brazil and in other countries too. We have artisans here in Mexico, in the artisanato process is something that we can replicate. Coffee, we can grow coffee here in Tanzania, in Kenya, in India. so we have similar things that we always use here, and the partnerships that we created around that. But also we always think on how we can multiply that type of methodology. So the core team's 12 people helping full time on that, but with the partnerships we go to 300 people supporting.
Wow. Yeah, I think the partnership idea is really important because you can't really do everything yourself, obviously. And I'm sure there's plenty of organizations that are willing to help in this kind of beautiful cause. And how do you get access to these organizations? Because I'm sure there's a lot of companies like yourselves and different kind of regions trying to or have the same type of mission, and they want to get into this, but usually they don't have the right tools, because it's a very human capital intense type of job, right? And or a business, and it's not just a smartphone app. So how do you go about locating these partnerships, and how do you identify which ones that are good for you?
As I mentioned, like my father helped to build a larger network of those partnerships along like many years. Like it has been like more than 50 years on developing this network. So I grew up with many, like knowing already many of the people that were doing good and doing right that I wanted to partner, and I saw the potential of the partnerships, especially in Brazil and Latin America. And here, like with by creating the methodology and how to work together in an effective way, they saw on us those tools and the technology that they needed to, especially to report and to track and to monitor, is not something that is easy. Many NGOs and many people that work specifically on the social impact side and environmental side, they need access to capital. So we provide the things and we combine the efforts, and most of them they do need the technology today, even like to prove sometimes to their own donors or investors, oh, the money is going through the right path. Here is where you can see through the Moeda technology. So we provide the technology, we provide those methodologies and the core infrastructure, and where they can plug where are they their best, where they can serve the best when is as you mentioned, like is intensive human capital, because it's a lot for people, especially in the indigenous communities and to the rural areas, like people that are very far from an urban area, to get access and to understand also the local challenges. We sometimes partner with the government too. We have a couple of public-private partnerships with some states. So we don't want to overlap things if that is a need, and we feel that we can fit in one piece of the puzzle. We try to work in combination with other capital or other government or someone that is already doing. We don't want to reinvent anything. We just want to plug things to sum and multiply the work that they do too. So it's like we end up finding each other into the needs to serve.
Yeah, you find each other. So tell us some of the hardships that you've went through as well, because I'm sure that not everything is all rosy and everything was a linear line to where you are right now. So could you share with us some of the hardships that you ran into?
So we especially in the beginning of the cryptocurrencies, there was a lot of negativity about it. Bitcoin was like, oh, this currency that you use for gaming or for like in the deep web or whatever, was like the people didn't understand very well where you could use it and how you can do it, but was like a lot of people telling that was a scam and things, and top people from the industry telling negatives about it, things about it. So it was hard 5 years ago, and also about impact investment. Now the ESG, social environmental responsibility, those terms became well known and mainstream, but 5 years ago, trying to explain, people were taking more of the side, oh, this is like pure philanthropy, it's just social. It's like, no, you can have financial returns, not crazy returns, but it's something that you can be like comfortable with, and you can do good and do well, and that doesn't need to be a trade-off. So explaining those things like early in the days was very hard, and with the regulatory space too. I was in a limbo. I didn't know, like there's no rules. Like when you do something as a pioneer, like an ICO or something, that was no manual about how you can do it. Was like, okay, let's do an ICO. Like how you build you start a company like an IPO, like because you have many investors like watching what you do, but you are a startup. So growing a company on a startup phase, but as a public company was very challenging too, because then like in the first day I have 841 investors, mainly from China between 20 and 28 years old. So also it's like challenging because it was like different type of investors that was like use it too, like even on the traditional VC and like. And so it's like growing a startup with steroids because like the crypto never sleeps. So it's like 24/7, like and ups and downs that are crazy and like to keep and to survive like into this industry, like people like see the deliverables. Like when we delivered the technology, we had to even to partner with the banks in the beginning was hard because they didn't understood the crypto part. So we had to build from scratch the core banking system. This is in 2 years. Like it's like building the core infrastructure of a bank is insane. It's like a lot of specialty security, like and everything that is needed. But now it is unique. Like many people just get a plugin from an exchange, like to start working with Bitcoin or blockchain is like in the whole entire infrastructure of what we do. So that was challenging in the technology too. But then the community saw the deliverables every week, like working like crazy into delivering both like the technology and the application and the impact that the technology does today. I think will support many other Moedas to flourish and many other businesses in the world. Now I feel more comfortable to walk in with the regulatory space as well, because we have this like track record, like projects that were like from the competition and people see the products and people see the returns. There was no default into the loan. So now I feel like, and now having the MasterCard, we were selected on the Star Path program. And that was amazing too, because now the market here understand and respect as well. So as a business before was just, oh, this is a little blockchain project. It was like, no, now it's like a fintech and a structured company, and MasterCard is taking care and investing and supporting that. So now I see like even more comfortable to navigate to the traditional system with big partnerships like MasterCard. But before was hard, like a lot of hard work.
Well, congratulations on that. I mean, having MasterCard as your investor, or even having them, next to your name, is going to change everything, right? And I think that this is a wonderful uplift to your business. And I think that going forward, then obviously you definitely have that good brand into your name. And also, even during the ICOs, just going back to your ICO story, that time I never really invested much in ICOs, to be honest, because I wasn't really sure. I mean, I come from a traditional finance background. I invested in equities. There's always a real ownership of the company, right? Where tokens had nothing. So I never really understood why people, I understood why people do ICOs. It's very easy money, but how to really keep that value in that token is the most important part, because it's not really tied to the economic success of the business either, because there's no reflection of that in the token price. It could be just a pump and dump, or it could just be very transactional. It could be gamified, etc. So keeping that expectation of your investors and having your economic growth of the business reflect on those tokens must be extremely hard, because I only really see those tokens that were issued during those times having a use case, usually in the exchange space. There's a lot of like BNB, the token that's used for Binance for transaction fees. Those kind of things really made sense because there was a perfect product market fit. But in terms of the other ICO companies that I've seen, I didn't really see any real use case why you needed a token for certain businesses. But in your business, obviously, the token is a key part of that because it is part of payments, and this is what you interact with. And how did you get the people that you're servicing feel that there's actual value in using your tokens? Because I think this is going to be the toughest part to explain to your target customers, because this is such a foreign thing, and I'm sure they never even heard of crypto and blockchain and all these things. So what was the communication to your end clients about the token itself?
Yeah, so the approach was with full of transparency. So we started early in the days doing weekly reports, which is crazy. Like for a normal company, IPO companies, like quarterly reports. So it's like we were like every single day, like tweeting and sharing with the community and engaging the community as well. Like, oh, this is the feature that is on the roadmap. Do you like it? You don't like it? How we are going about it? So this is the deliverables. This is the partnerships that we are making. And here, that's how we are growing, how many people we are impacting every week, and in tweet versions like every other day. So it was like keeping like the reports and keeping the communication as sincere and honest as possible. So from what we wrote on the white paper to today, we've delivered like 10 times as more, and people saw the growth and they feel that was like a participatory process. It's a community of investors, and today we grow from like 841 investors to more than 5,000. They're like close, and a couple of them that work closely to them, and also opinate on governance. Like the top investors, they participate as well. They test, then they purchase the beautiful products as well. They said, oh, I invested on the coffee, now I want to purchase the coffee. And so we have like investors from three years that do go full like in like testing and verifying that. But mainly on the technology, like that made a lot of difference to deliver that in a constant way, and always being like ahead of the curve. So that is a DeFi. So we have a DeFi project, NFT. So we are into NFTs. So like trying to see how the space like moves to many other things and try to adjust all the time. So we have to be very open to learn every day because the space, and especially in DeFi, I feel like every time that I go to the internet and start like learning, my knowledge is like 30%. I need to recoup like every day. It's like a lot of things happening like at the same time, and it's a short period of time. Like it being 5 years in crypto, I feel like a veteran because I've been there like since it's like 1 year in crypto is like 5 years in a normal startup company. But yeah, most of the communication is chat based, Telegram, WeChat, and we do have this like close thing, but people also in chat based communications, like they are turning on and off a TV. So when the price is down and the price is up, they want to know like, oh, well, what happened? And then we like try to keep this like constant communication, and also to avoid any type of like misunderstanding or anxiety of the investors, though, so they feel very comfortable and confident because especially of the track record. Like now we prove that we survived first, like many of the ICOs are not there anymore. And now like by having the use cases and very clearly that and very tangible things built from the use of the blockchain technology, they love it. So we have like passionate investors too. So we grow together.
Yeah, I think, being on Twitter or Telegram or WeChat or whatever those things, and constantly be on top of it is probably taking, majority of your time, which you can use for other things. But I guess it also keeps you accountable for your growth of the company and to your investors. But you probably would think, oh, I wish I could just leave that to somebody else and focus on what you want to do. Now, let me just change it up a bit, because this is my personal kind of idea that I always had, is on the cooperative side. So you said your father has been in the cooperative, side of things, and they grew and created a lot of networks in that area. So I was thinking, in the world of now, we have all these DAOs, decentralized autonomous organizations, or you have this like metaverse nowadays, where it's like a decentralized or a bit country, these projects that are trying to bring very decent, or as I would say, dislocated people coming together to organize an economy in the metaverse and the internet. And do you think that using these kind of concepts can create more dislocated villages or regions to come together to even create more of an ecosystem where they can lend to each other, create a more peer-to-peer sustainable way to grow each other, even though they're kind of miles apart from each other? Because that's something that I always wanted to kind of think about and see how the thing can just move from the physical world into the digital world. And you don't need to have these barriers if you have the blockchain or the DAOs that are being created these days. So I just wanted to pick your brains on that, because I thought maybe I'm just kind of way ahead of myself.
No, absolutely. I think I would take the values of cooperation to the heart, to move things through. Like when people cooperate and exchange data, exchange lessons learned, this is amazing for any community, for any business and any person. And those technologies, like today is easier to do like than was like a long time ago. You have like YouTube that you can learn like many things and how to harvesting and like how to, but if you know someone else that has been to the same struggle, it's easier like to connect and to grow together. And as I mentioned, the same challenges here in Brazil we have in other parts of Latin America, in Africa, in Southeast Asia. So as more than we can exchange, and we see it all as one, like we take the responsibility and ownership, like in a cooperative, everybody is like equal. so when we start to see it's like one earth, we need to take care of this one earth. We might go to Mars and other planets, but we'll take long to move everybody to other planets. So this is our ownership here. We are all in the same place, like we need to take care. And as we build things more sustainable along the time, and be more conscious about an investment or a purchase, and people, they really do struggle and see it's a like to change the mindset is hard. Like people are used to do things in how they learned for 20 years ago. So when we go to a crop and tell, oh, that's a better technology here for you to use, they will be like skeptical. It's like, oh, can I use? My dad and my granddad is like doing this forever. But if they say, no, I did with my crop, I did use that technology, and that is the lessons learned. And then you create that communication, and by reference and examples, and as more people share with each other how they can learn and grow together, this is the best way. So creating communities that are decentralized and that people can support, not only financially, but with their knowledge too, and time, and share their time. We have like many investors, they told, oh, I want to invest, but I also have a partnership to introduce to you, and I also can do other things. Like I want to invest my time into this specific project. So when we make it available for the communities to use the technology in favor to share more, and to be able to invest more, the better. So I do see as more cooperative that we are in a daily basis, the better for all of us.
Yeah, I totally agree. And this is something that, for me growing up without the internet and during my youth, and now we have these generations of people willing to share, willing to collaborate, willing to create partnerships is truly amazing because it just didn't really see those things happening, because of the physical barriers that people had. And now, no, it's not just about the internet, but like you could create like these cooperatives of, as you were saying, like coffee plantation owners or people working in those coffee plantations across multiple geographical locations, sharing information with each other, maybe even sharing value chains, resources, supply chain resources, etc. All those things can now come together because of this technology, which I find it extremely fascinating. So you're definitely on a great path to like creating a great company, lifting people out of poverty. So for you, like what is your next step? What is your ultimate goal, and what is kind of what success means to you in this sense?
Now for us that the technology is proven and tested, and everything that we have done in Brazil now is to scale and grow. We have been building many of the products, and now we are starting to communicate what we did in order for us like to be able to make it available to other countries and other companies, the use of our applications and technology, and to expand and multiply the impact that we make here in Brazil. We do see a lot of possibilities in the world to change and collaborate and using in the service of like doing good and doing well. So now it's time to scale and grow. We planted all the seeds. Now we're ready to grow. And the MasterCard partnership will definitely help on that too.
And what do you think you need to scale this? So is it about capital? Is it more about recognition of your achievements? What is scaling to you?
Yeah, today is both the capital and through strategic partnerships. So we are starting like raising a traditional round. Now we raised the crypto, but now we need the traditional to go and scale like quickly and fast, both for the core banking technology, the application of the technology, and the fund to grow in volume of capital that we lend. And we can allocate that capital very, very quick and fast through all the beautiful projects that we have on our pipeline today. So now it's like both capital, and now with the capital growing in operations too, having more and more people creating this like army for good to support and multiply the effort.
And so I might have asked before, but what does success mean to you in this sense? Is it about, because some people it's about getting rich, etc. There's many ways to look at success. So for you, what is that success?
For me, it's in the smiles that when I go to the project and I see the smiles into their faces of the women like owned businesses, the Dona Divina, Dona Maria, when they are happy that they have independency, they have autonomy from the technology that we built. This for me makes my day every day that I see a smile. So I want to really multiply those smiles, and that means having a successful life, like working with my heart and my purpose in what I love, and supporting other people to flourish and to grow too.
Yeah, that's very beautiful. Beautiful. And so if any words of advice for people who are on the mission, this altruistic mission that you're on as well. I mean, what is the key learnings that you've learned throughout this 5 years that you've been in this business? What kind of advice can you give to people?
I think it's having the courage to be pioneer. That is like a lot to grow, and a lot of opportunities both into the crypto world space, but also into making different types of assets that are more humanized and that take care of sustainability, and making like conscious choices on investments and partnerships, and people that lift you up and lift your heart up. So if as more aligned with the purpose business is, more people will pay attention to that, and the new generations are coming strong on choosing good. So if you can do well and do good, that doesn't need to be a trade-off. We have many of the solutions are built up, but if you invest and support the good of the companies that are doing good and have the purpose as you help them to flourish, and you help the ecosystem of impact to grow. And that is like a lot of hard work because those things don't come up easily, and for people to understand and to accept that is a learning curve. So there is like a lot of advocacy and education that needs to be on the space too. So as more the good people that are doing good, they talk about what they're doing to share as well, and to be able to connect with other people to really support like this mission. We cannot do it alone. Like we need the support and to engage with everyone to be able to multiply the work that we do every day.
Great. Thank you so much for your time, Taynaah. And I wish you further and grander success going into the future. And I wish you well. And again, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much for having me. It was wonderful.
Hi, this is your host Takatoshi Shibayama. Thank you for listening all the way to the end. Now, if you enjoyed or disliked this show, please let me know by writing in the comment section. The only way I can improve or add value to you is through your voices. If there are any topics that you would like me to pick up, please also let me know in the comments. I'd love to start chatting with you all. And if you would like to continue watching the show, please subscribe. Thank you.